you could accept the fact that this city is headed for a disaster of biblical proportion.
Well, what do you mean, biblical?
What he means is Old Testament, Mr.
Yes.
Mayor. Real wrath of God type stuff.
Exactly.
Fire and brimstone coming down from the skies. Rivers and seas boiling.
40 years of darkness, earthquakes, volcanoes.
The dead rising from the grave.
Human sacrifice, dogs and cats living together, mass hysteria.
We don't know what kind of action.
It's for us.
It's
Just that's the way our speech is.
It's because you guys are here.
It was a legitimate call. It made sense. It was pass interference. I don't care what anybody says.
Get ready for 2 hours of hard-hitting football talk from two men in the know. It's Football on the Know with Jim and Joe.
You call runs when you're not supposed to, and Dak Prescott's throwing it in the dirt.
What they say, it's not the X's and the O's, it's the Jimmies and the Joes.
All right, what's going on, everybody? Welcome once again to another episode of Football on the Know. I am Jim McPhee. Alongside of me is Mr. Joe DeCapita.
What's going on, Autos? Welcome back for another edition of Football on the No Show. We are locked and loaded, ready to go talk some playoffs possibly coming up.
Absolutely.
We got some game situations. Week 17, a lot can happen. A lot can change with a lot of teams. Do they make the playoffs? Do they not make the playoffs? Just based on this week alone, it's exciting. There's a lot to cover right now. So let's just dive right into it.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. A lot of crazy games this past week. A bunch of headliners going head-to-toe, toe-to-toe here. The Bills rocking and rolling on Monday night. It's killing
Rocking
the
and
Patriots.
rolling.
First time since 2000 since they've been swept by one of the AFC's teams.
Yeah, not to mention in that same game, Josh Allen broke the record, a franchise record for most passing yards in a single season. So Josh Allen just breaking records for his franchise. He surpassed Jim Kelly, and it's pretty exciting for Buffalo Bills fans right now. I mean, it's funny because in the offseason, you and me, Jim, both called it. We definitely were true believers in Buffalo to not only take this division, but it seems like they're doing more than that. It seems like they're striking fear in the hearts of other AFC teams as we get closer to the playoffs.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it's getting locked down. And how about the Jets again? Come up with another win against a damaged here, Cleveland Brown team. It's funny too. We were talking about this off air, but we brought this up earlier in the season. Teams that, were able to rest because of COVID and everything and having issues and stuff with players. We saw it with the Ravens.
Games were delayed.
Things like delayed games. And now 4 of their starting wide receivers, their top 4 here, gone and they have to go and play. They're literally in the parking lot practicing with the receivers, trying to get them on the same page, and you can see that it wasn't able to happen for them, and they couldn't completely beat the Jets here with their running game. So they go down to the Jets. But how did that not get delayed last
but
second
isn't
here
that
for
the
Cleveland
craziest thing is, like, why is the NFL picking certain teams to punish more than others? It's like Cleveland, like, they didn't really have any wide receivers to help them. None. They had to call up a practice squad guy or two. They also signed a couple of guys off the street. I believe while they were walking up to the stadium, they saw an athletic guy off to the side, and they just said, here's a contract for one day. Can you help us out?
There you go.
And then on top of that, like you mentioned, they were literally in. This wasn't a joke. They were literally in the parking garage before the game, warming up and trying plays with the receivers that they just added to the active roster, and try to help catch them up to speed before the game starts. Who does this?
Yeah,
I mean, how is the NFL going to say, hey, you have to play? We know that you have nobody to throw to, but you still have to play. Where we've seen other teams that get special treatment, like the Ravens, who we're not really sure if we're going to have Lamar. We're not really sure we're going to have our running backs. Oh, that's okay. We'll just push your game off to Tuesday or Wednesday, and then you'll have them back then.
Absolutely. I want to give a shout out to Rob C. Arendt for the comment and the share to
Thanks,
NFL
Rob.
Talk All 32, and to Nicholas Randall Demerit. We appreciate that they're out with you guys tonight. Yeah, absolutely. Know-it-alls. It's pretty crazy. So we appreciate you guys joining us here tonight for the show. We've got some interesting things to talk about because now with the way the season has settled up here, not only teams that are struggling, so where they maybe need to, they're going to have a losing schedule, so that maybe they're going to have to reset or figure something out for the future. But then other teams also that even if they go further on in the playoffs, what's their future look like here? Because they have some guys here that are currently on the roster, to where if you look at it next year, there's going to be some differences here. And are they going to be able to keep these guys, or what are they going to do here? So let's take a look at a team that a lot of people are talking about here, and we're talking about the Phillip Rivers here in the Indianapolis Colts here. Let's go. Yeah, he's on a one-year deal. He's set to make he's making $13 million right now. I think guaranteed the $25 million deal right here for this season. He's 39 years old. Yep. Next year's up in the air again. I mean, are they going to sign him to another deal here? Are they going to make the playoffs here? Because they're on the outside looking in. They still have to win this game out, and it happens to be whether what happens with the Ravens or the Cleveland Browns and how they play, whether they can get in even into the playoffs. So.
The big thing here is it really depends on Tennessee and the Colts themselves, because the division is still up for taking. They're both tied at 10-5. Titans have 10-5 record as well as the Colts do. So if the Titans happen to lose this weekend and the Colts win, Colts are in. They would take the division. They are the division winners, and they move in. This is what makes it so exciting, and you can go division to division. There's a lot of things that are going to take place Week 17 that are going to alter the playoffs and the seeds and what have you. So right now, it all comes down to this weekend. Titans, can they win and stay in, or are the Colts going to be able to take that divisional crown? So that's something to watch for as well. Yes, regardless of what happens, whatever team does end up losing, what's to say? Maybe they both end up in a tie. Then they go to the tiebreaker, and also a team that comes in second is going to need some help, like you mentioned before.
Yeah, definitely. And if you look at the Colts, they have Jacoby Brissett even on the hook for some money here, still sitting on their back pocket. But then also, you hear the rumblings and grumblings about possibly Carson Wentz now that he's been benched. He doesn't even want to be in Philly anymore. He wants to move on, maybe request a trade. Can they get him to the Indianapolis Colts, like everybody's saying, reunite him with Frank Reich? Is that a friendly deal for both teams? Is it going to happen? I mean, that's an interesting thing moving forward with that team as well. A lot of decisions going on here
I don't
in
know.
this offseason.
I something tells me that, that's kind of like one of those rumors that is just thrown out there.
Yeah, I think so.
And I get it. I get the tie. You got Frank Reich, who, when he was the offensive coordinator for Philly, Carson Wentz had an amazing year, as long as he stayed healthy, of course. But and to reunite him and Frank Reich, can he get Carson back on track, back on the right path as a quarterback? Yeah, I believe so. Because Frank Reich is a brilliant offensive mind and can make those changes and have his guys play well. So it's an intriguing topic to talk about. Do I see it happening? It's hard to say, because with a guy like Carson, where the Eagles felt completely comfortable last year in keeping him on the roster, didn't have any trade thoughts or anything like that. Yes, they did go ahead and they drafted Jalen Hurts as a potential future for Philly, and he looked good from time to time. He had his fair share of missed throws or something like that, or a play that broke down and didn't work out well. But this is gonna follow Carson all the way through the offseason right now. Is Philly thinking about possibly moving on from Carson and making Jalen the guy for next season? I don't think that's. I think it's too quick and too soon to jump to that conclusion just yet. But what's to say if maybe Indy calls Philly in the offseason and says, "Hey, how attached to Carson are you guys?" If there's at any point where they're maybe thinking like, maybe Carson's not our guy. Now maybe we get a conversation of maybe trade compensation. How much is it going to take to get Carson to go to Indy? I think it's an intriguing topic. It's definitely something that I feel is going to continue being talked about as we get closer to the offseason.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. I mean, it's definitely going to be out there for everybody out there. All right, we have, again, the Restream is messing up with the names, but I know it's our man Mike Tackett in the house with us tonight. Happy
going on,
final
Mike?
hump day of this crazy year. It can only get better from this point on. Wait, easy. Don't jinx us now, Mike Tackey. Come on, bro. All right. But it says, unless you're a Jets fan. Here you go. Yeah, so it can only get better. Isn't that funny, that game, too? For two teams, it is the most Jet thing and the most Brown thing at the same time, right? Right? And can you imagine losing to the Jets here, and just when you had an opportunity, when the Steelers, were looking so hot, you got an opportunity to stay with them and keep going. And then the Jets, again, bump yourself completely out of any chance of getting up there in the number 1 pick. And now you're locked in at number 2. And there you go. I mean, who knows? Maybe they can pull off a win this week, too, the way they're playing. Who knows? But that's why they have a lot of decisions to make. And especially moving forward here with our next one, it is Sam Darnold here. There you go. You got to do Sam Darnold here. That's it. You got to look at Sam Darnold because he's been playing better, the last couple of weeks, and they played tough against two teams here. Yes, one was battered, and the other one just. Jared Goff did hurt his thumb, last week, and so they're not playing well, the Rams right now, and so there you go. You get two teams by surprise. You come up with 2 wins, so now it's questions you. You're not going to be in the Trevor Lawrence conversation, it seems like, unless the Jaguars do the Jaguar thing and get a defensive player somehow out of nowhere for the first overall pick.
That might change because it depends on who they end up hiring as a head coach. Because I really don't think I think Doug Marrone's done. I think he's on his way out.
I think so too.
I think he knows it. The organization's ready to move on, and that's what's going to happen. So now it's what regime comes in. What are they going to be looking for? Obviously, you start with quarterback because they don't have a true answer there just yet. Yeah, it was nice, the whole story about Gardner Minshew taking over the job and winning it, and it was fun. He's a fun guy to be around. He's a fun little one-time hit wonder, if you will, for that team. But let's be honest, they still haven't found that true franchise quarterback. Still looking. So it's really what the new regime that comes in, what we're expecting to happen, what they're going to look for. Now, is it Trevor Lawrence? It might not even be, because as we get closer to the draft, I know a lot of people out there, all you know-it-alls out there that do pay attention to the draft, it changes. It's a very fluid thing. Trevor Lawrence right now is on the hype train. You know what I mean? And as we get closer and get more information out of scouts and teams and organizations, and we get closer to the scouting combine, then you're going to start to know like who the real players are. Yes, Lawrence is still going to be in that conversation, but there's going to probably be 2, 3, maybe even 4 quarterbacks that get brought to light where we're like, wow, I don't know. Maybe out of these 3 guys, you got Trevor Lawrence and you got 2 other guys that all could be deserving of that pick. Now we got something to talk about. Who do we think is better? Who do we think is not so good? So when we get to that point, we'll get to that point. But, Trevor Lawrence right now is the hot topic. Everybody's saying that's the guy that they're going to pick, but who knows? I mean, the Jaguars, maybe they're not believers in Trevor Lawrence. We don't know that just yet. Maybe it's not quarterback in the first round. Maybe if they are so convinced that maybe it's a defensive player, maybe it's an offensive player that they like better, except quarterback, and maybe they're willing to wait till second round possibly to get their guy. So let's wait and see how everything unfolds. But it is definitely one of those times in the year where we can look forward to our teams and all 32 teams in the NFL where we can start to say, hey, what if this team does this? What if that team does that? And then what are they doing free agency in the draft? It's very exciting.
And it's funny, you see him tanking right now to try and get that pick because there's no way you're starting Mike Glennon over Gardner Minshew thinking you're going to have an opportunity to win this game.
But that's exactly what they thought because here's the thing is we've even seen Gardner Minshew struggle this year. So it's all.
But he's still playing better than any of the other guys there.
At times. Like we've seen Glennon come in and him drive the team down and score touchdowns and they end up winning the game. Same thing with Minshew. Minshew's done the same thing as well. But it's almost like Doug Marrone knows his time is up. So he's just playing musical quarterbacks, at this juncture now in the season, trying to thinking that he's going to still be there, but we all know that's not true. That what is my guy? Well, guess what? He's not there. So I think towards the end of the season, it was just like kind of like he was just trying to grasp for straws, trying to find any kind of a spark by the end of the season to be like, hey, listen, when I started Glennon this 1 week, the offense played better. You might want to keep me around, and we could make something happen. You know what I mean? Like, I just feel like it's a desperation move by Doug Marrone to maybe have something to combat all the murmurings of him being let go.
Mm-hmm.
You play to win the game.
There you go.
You don't play to just play it.
There you go.
No,
all right, we've got Cynthia Blair in the house with us tonight. She says, "Happy New Year, football on the know." Happy New Year, Happy New Year to you. Yeah, it's hopefully it's a happy next coming year. We'll see what happens with 2021. But
I can't wait to get out of 2020.
Pretty crazy, right? Yeah, it's absolutely nuts. But so far, this football season has been pretty exciting though too, and we have a lot of stuff going on here. But Sam Darnold, if you want to circle back onto this with the Jets now, again, they've been playing better. Now he shows that he possibly can have something to work with them. But I think when it comes to Sam Darnold, maybe the absolute true question is, will Adam Gase, be on, as the head coach here and still work with him? Because, again, he said that he has failed his organization to help Sam Darnold, develop and not get him there. And now they win the next past couple games here. But that's fine that, you're trying to pull up some win here still. But you also just screwed the franchise out of possibly getting another quarterback if that's who they were going to go for was Trevor Lawrence.
But isn't that funny, though?
Too. So
Gase knows he's out.
Right.
There's no doubt in my mind.
Yeah.
So he's just trying to boost his resume as we get down to the end. And that's the only thing he can stand on and say, hey, but, down the stretch, and what I mean by down the stretch is the last 3 to 4 games, I had that team playing better. You know what I mean?
Yeah, like his last 4 last year. It's like wait to the end. Yeah, everybody should just play the second half.
What happened to the rest of the year, bro?
Yeah. It's like on the last 9 holes, when I was golfing, I'm just going to play the last 9 every time. You know what I mean? Because then I'll play better. All right, here we go. But he's 24 still.
Yes,
his last year
young
on his contract is 2021, so he still has next year to go, where he's going to be making $9,794,000. So they got to make a decision whether they're going to, pick him up and rework a contract to keep him around long term, or maybe they can even ride it out next year and see how he does with a new offense coordinator and head coach possibly. Yep. You know what I mean? So let's see what happens with them. But right now, it kind of seems like Sam Darnold has to be their guy, at least for now, or maybe again, because he is there for one more year. Joe Flacco, I didn't see what his contract is. But do you keep him on even still, too, as a veteran presence?
I think Joe Flacco's an interesting, player is because now that he knows that he's in the twilight of his career, that he knows, like, he'll be a backup regardless of where he goes, if he goes anywhere else. It's about him. Does he want to continue playing? You know what I mean? Or is he done with the league? He showed flashes when he was the starter for the Jets after Darnold went down with an injury and played pretty darn well, actually. So it's going to be up to him, basically. If he wants to continue, I'm pretty sure like the Jets would love to have him back in that role as a backup, as a mentor to Sam Darnold. And for Sam Darnold, I mean, quite honestly, he's not a bad quarterback. He's not a terrible quarterback. And here's the thing, the biggest misconception of Darnold is once he entered the league for the Jets, a lot of pressure was on him to perform because he's in that position of quarterback, and everybody expected them to get wins because they got a new quarterback in New York. Unfortunately, there's this little thing called developing that nobody is patient with, and they expect wins right away. But he came into an offense that had no receivers to throw to, no offensive line to protect him, and really didn't have any. He just didn't have any weapons. So until they started to surround him with weapons. Now here's the thing: is late in the season is when all his weapons were like healthy at one point in time, all on the same field at the same time. So, when you had Brashad Perryman and you had Jamison Crowder and you had the rookie Denzel Mims starting to develop as well, being a rookie, we're starting to see things on the football field that the Jets don't normally do, and that's actually have an offense. Yes, the departure of Bell kind of hurt this offense too, because now they really don't have a feature back, if you will, for that team. But what needs to happen now, and this is, we've said this a bunch of times at this point, Gase does need to be let go. You can also go ahead and let go of the GM because he's not doing his job. Need to hire a new GM, hire a new head coach and their staff, and then as you get into closer to the draft and you have free agency, you don't have to pick up the super studs. Everyone wants to shell out the big money and get the big, huge names. Sometimes it's about getting the right player for your team. If the Jets are smart in free agency, and then as the draft gets closer, I know everybody's going to be saying, hey, we need a new quarterback. We need new this. We need that new shiny car. Use that high draft pick and trade it. Trade that draft pick and get multiple picks. So that way, throughout the draft, you can add a lot more talent. And then come next season, if everything works out just right, you can have a completely, a team that's complete and more competitive for next season and ready to go.
Yeah, I agree with you there. Because again, look at some of the teams that have success here. The Chiefs, even for one, you build up that offensive line, get that offensive line there strong, get your protection, and then it helps right there. I mean, because the problem with Le'Veon Bell, why he wasn't able to be successful, he couldn't get it past.
No line.
Yeah, you were getting people in the backfield already. He couldn't get anywhere. No. And we said that when he came there, it's like that's cool. You signed and you got your money there, but really you weren't going to have a lot of production. Everybody thought he was going to light up the league here and be a jet and be an offensive weapon for them, and it wasn't the case. And you could see it there, and that's why he even wanted out, because he wasn't able to get the production that he wanted to get. So he figured, if I'm going to go anywhere, I'm going to go and try and go somewhere and get a championship. Made it to the Chiefs, and now he doesn't mind about splitting carries there, not being the full term guy. Now he has an opportunity to
chasing
be
that chip
now. But I mean, that's the thing. He's got a lot better offensive line there too, as well. I mean, and that's the thing.
I mean, they're okay.
Yeah. I mean, they're better than the Jets.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? So,
definitely.
But I mean, and that's part of it. That's part about building your team, because I know you're gonna have your people that say, look at Robbie Anderson, look what he's doing in a different franchise. And when you said with the Jets they didn't have any weapons, they had Robbie Anderson. But yeah, I mean, that's a different organization. You also have DJ Moore on the other side, and it's just they're running things better. You also got Teddy Bridgewater, who has experience too as well. That's been there for a while, plus a good running back when he's healthy, and Christian McCaffrey there be able to make plays as well on his own.
That's
there's
a
a lot of
thing.
different other tools and weapons that they have there to opens up for Robbie Anderson as well.
And they don't even need Christian McCaffrey, because Mike Davis has been playing lights out
as well.
He's not Christian. Don't get me wrong, but he doesn't. He's not that far down in terms of talent as we kind of thought.
Right.
When Christian went down, we were like, Mike Davis, he's good, but I don't know how good he is, and he played really well.
Right.
Now, Robbie Anderson,
yeah.
I wanted to touch on that real quick.
Sure.
This is Adam Gase's fault. This is another thing that went wrong with Adam Gase. Robbie Anderson has always been a good receiver. It's just in Gase's offense, for whatever reason, he just never utilized Robbie to his fullest extent of his talent. I mean, I seen Carolina, Matt Rule and his offense and everything. You're seeing Robbie Anderson being used as a complete receiver, not just a deep threat. I see him doing 10-yard cross ends and slants and right over the middle of the football field and catching the ball and running and attacking and doing hitches and everything. So they're using him like a complete receiver, and it's paying off huge for them, huge dividends in Carolina. So, I mean, that's another part of the Jets, too, is that Adam Gase is not he's not good at identifying the talent that he has and working with those players to fulfill their potential to the fullest. It's just not happening, and that's another reason why Gase needs to go. So Jets, they need to clean house as far as the coaching staff goes and the front office with the GM. And again, I know it's not the sexiest thing to do to trade that high pick, but I feel like that would be the best for this organization to help turn it around quicker.
Absolutely, yeah. So, I mean, we're talking about Sam Darnold here for the New York Jets here. Are they going to keep him long-term with another deal, or are they going to just
he's
ride
only
out his last deal? So, I mean, he is young, a lot to work with.
25 years old, you get to redo a contract with him, and you'll still have him for another, I don't know, it depends how long he plays, but like maybe 7 years.
Oh, yeah, definitely. So, I mean, here we go. Now, next we're moving on to Mitch Trubisky here and the Chicago Bears. That's right.
Oh, he looks intimidating.
He does look intimidating there. See, but Mitch Trubisky here, and this is his last year on his deal. 2020. He's 26 years old. He makes $9,237,593 here for this season. So they were maybe looking to move on him. That's the whole reason why they got the Nick Foles there in there with him, the incentives that he had, that he was going to be even probably the starter. Yep. But lo and behold, if we look at it all now, flip-flop. And there you go. Nick Foles not looking so hot. He hurts his hiney and doesn't play again. And Mitch Trubisky, they were 5, I think, in 1 or something like that the first part of the season.
Right.
Doing all right. They pull him. Nick Foles doesn't do much better. Trubisky's back in here. The last 3 games, I'll even say the last 4. Check this out. 76% completion percentage, 72% completion percentage, 71%, and then 68.5%. This guy is throwing the right plays, the throws that are easy completions here for him, rolling out. And this is one thing I've said about this guy all the time, and why I argue with the way some coaches handle some of their schemes or some quarterbacks. Some guys you got to get them out in space. They just play better that way. And when you try and hold them in a pocket to where, they have that, they're not comfortable with the guys coming around them and staying in there, they get jittery. They make mistakes. They can't have the right kind of vision. Right. They move them out a little bit. It also brings out the field a little bit here too. Not only a lot of people say it cuts off the half of the field a little bit, but it spreads out your receivers, I think, in zones especially, and it's better. He gets a better vision that way. And his legs also, if it ain't there, he can take off running. And he's got, a pretty good speed for a quarterback here and make some plays on the run.
Yeah, he's definitely got the speed. So when you ever have a mobile quarterback like that who can make those throws, and we've seen him make some pretty darn good throws, and some tough, in some tough spots, and being able to thread the needle at times, we've seen them. But we've also seen the other side of Mitch Trubisky, where it was, man, you probably shouldn't have thrown that ball into double coverage. Like, what are you thinking? Like, bad decision-making. So we've seen the good and the bad from Mitch, but you know what? It's mostly good for Chicago, for Matt Nagy and his offense. And that was the other big critical thing with the Bears is Matt Nagy and his play calling. It was like a seesaw battle like last season where, like, you really weren't sure what you were getting week to week with him as a coach. And it was almost like he was holding that offense back with the talent that they had. And now it seems like maybe now Matt is a little bit more trusting with Mitch, especially because we've seen him play much better this year. And I'll say it, I was one of those guys that said, well, Nick Foles is there. It's his job. I don't see Mitch coming back from this. I don't see, Nick Foles letting go of this. But apparently, everything that was said in camp was true. Nick Foles struggled with the offense, and it looked like it when we got to see him on the field. Now Mitch comes back once again as the starter, proving all the doubters wrong, me included, and hey, he's taking over the job. He's maturing right before our eyes, developing better. He's starting to get a hold and is way more comfortable with Matt Nagy's offense than he ever was, and it's showing on the football field. With all these weapons, it's tough to take down the Bears right now. I mean, they're red hot right now on offense, and just at the right time because they're fighting for a playoff spot as well.
Yeah, absolutely. When you come to think about it now, when you look at this, maybe if they did just trust in him too and keep working with him, and maybe they made the switch because they made switch on play calling too. Matt Nagy stepped away from the play calling, and now maybe that's part of the thing here too. And you're seeing him roll out more, and the offense changing a little bit here as well. And they're able to make plays and be able to make this push here. Unfortunately, now they meet up with the Green Bay Packers here, but it's a tough divisional game here with these guys too.
They know each other very well.
Very well, yeah, absolutely. And I don't know if Green Bay's sitting anybody. They haven't so far said they're going to sit anybody yet. So I think it's still going to be a knockout, drag-out game with these guys.
I think they're one of those teams that still have to. They're still
I think
playing
so.
for
I think
something.
they have to play still. Yeah,
like
absolutely.
they have the division. They have the division locked down. But let me just take a look real quick.
I don't think anybody has the.
So you have the Saints and the Packers. So let's just say, for example, if the Packers do lose and they end up 12-4. if the Saints win and they're 12-4, what's the tiebreaker?
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean?
I think they said if the Saints win, I think the Packers beat them. So I think it's what it is. Did they win? I think they played each other because I remember seeing a scenario earlier on this year because I think even the Seahawks were involved in that too. If they happen to be the Saints and the Packers both lose, then I think the Seahawks get the pick if they win, or it's because they have the tiebreaker or something. But that's the thing about the NFC. A lot of these teams aren't going to sit so many of these guys because it's not it's not that decided yet. It's so close, and it's still anybody's ball game here to get that one bye week that they need.
So the tiebreaker would be Packers get it because they beat the Saints by a touchdown, 37-30.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, there you go. So I mean, and then they said I think. The Saints might have beat the Seattle. Like I said, I mean it's weird the way it ended up being.
There's a lot.
It's a three-way tie, but it's
real confusing.
Yeah, absolutely. So I mean, we're talking about franchises right now that need to make some tough decisions about the quarterback. We talked about the Colts with Philip Rivers. Are they going to keep him around if they don't make the playoffs?
But it might not be up to the Colts because as of Week 17, Philip has even brought it out and said it. He goes, "This might be my last game that I play."
Well, there you go. He's already thinking about it then. Yeah. So I mean, 1 foot out the door is never good for a team.
I mean, here's the other thing too: is he's got like 45 kids.
Yeah,
so,
he's got to run that football team.
How could you retire?
Yeah,
you got to keep playing. Bro.
Yeah, right. I know. Yeah, you
got to make that money.
Make that money, absolutely. So, and then we've got Sam Darnold here. You know, their Jets gonna, rework a new deal for them. I mean, he has one more deal on his first contract here, and then we just talked about Mitch Trubisky here with the Bears, who this is his last year, so they got to make a decision, in the offseason before the next season hits and he becomes a free agent. So.
I mean, I think that they're at that point right now where they're basically now they're convinced that it's like now they're going to work on a new deal with Mitchell Trubisky for him to be long term the answer at quarterback for them, and Nick Foles, he's going to be moving on. Like we know he's still under contract, but. At the same point in time, I believe the clause in his contract was that he could void the contract in the first 2 years of the deal. So I mean, if he sees that he's gonna be the backup, maybe he voids it and goes elsewhere and tries to earn a starting job elsewhere, or maybe he's comfortable. He's like, maybe I'll just be the backup and get paid.
Yeah, absolutely. And that brings us to you want to talk about a guy with 1 foot out the door, maybe retiring here. We got Ben Roethlisberger,
Big Ben,
for the Pittsburgh Steelers. So now people are taking a look at the Steelers now and noticing that that maybe they haven't beaten a lot of tough teams here. Especially when half of your games were against the NFC East, and we see how they have been playing. And with the injuries on this team and with the defense also struggling. And Ben, the way he's even handling the ball, a lot of times he's making some bad decisions. I mean, I said it, I think a week or so ago, you get some of this with him because he's typically on the same trail that he has been doing. With a certain amount of picks, with touchdowns and here and there, but you're just not seeing the bigger explosive off the top plays that you're used to seeing Big Ben throw and hitting them with. Now that Juju Smith-Schuster has been kind of the lead guy too, we haven't really seen him really take off and be that main outwards guy here. It seems like there's situational players here. And now you see Claypool really being the main focus here on some of those deeper routes.
As a rookie,
yeah, absolutely. But again, Ben Roethlisberger and the Steelers started off slow. Looks like they were going to lose last week, and then they come back and pull off the win in the end. But they're kind of backdooring into this.
They are.
And they're going to rest somebody. They're going to rest these guys, Big Ben, this coming week too as well. So against a Cleveland team now that could potentially win this one. Yes, they fall to the Jets, but still, with
they're
going to
get the
healthy,
receivers back,
they get their
now.
guys back. They can win this game, and if you get the opportunity to let this team back in it, it could damage you because right now you are a vulnerable team.
And that's the interesting scenario that the Steelers are playing with. It's almost like they're playing with fire at this point, is because you have the Ravens and the Browns are both tied, and are you going to give the golden ticket to the Browns and say, hey, listen, we're going to rest some guys. If you beat us, it's cool. If not, then we basically have knocked you out. As long as the Ravens win, they don't stay tied. So the Steelers, it looks like what it sounds like is they're willing to rest their guys. If the Browns beat them and the Browns end up in the playoffs, you're playing another rival in the playoffs, possibly. I'm not saying that they'll meet with them, but if they do, just saying they know you so well, you don't want to play a rival in the playoffs. It's definitely not something fun. It is a completely different environment. Don't get me wrong. It's not regular season. Playoffs, it's like a different feel. It's just different. There's really no words you can to describe it. It's just for some reason, it's just different. And I feel like it's because it's like sudden death. It's like everybody knows we lose this game, it's over. Season's over. So everybody, all their everything is heightened, up to the point where everybody's super focused and the tackling's got to be perfect and the execution's got to be perfect and what have you. So very exciting. And that's the thing. It's like it seems like the Steelers are willing to be like, oh, yeah, we're playing a rival, but they're not the one really worried about it. Seems like they're more worried about Baltimore getting in the playoffs than anything. So we'll have to wait and see how that all shakes out.
Yeah, I know. I mean, and do you really want that, too, the way the Ravens have been playing even, too, the last couple of weeks?
Yeah, the last couple of weeks. They've been playing on fire.
Yeah, I mean, and that was one of the bigger games where you had to sit out and be delayed because of the COVID, popping up here with the Ravens and things like that. And now if you potentially have to face them again, I mean, even with that week off that you're resting your guys, is that enough? Is that good for you, even out there right now? The way you guys have been playing, I would even be like, some of the guys that are banged up, but you guys got to play harder,
I mean, here's the other thing, too, is that not everybody's, like, bringing this up and talking about it, but Juju's having a down year. Juju's dropping a lot more balls than he's ever done. So that begs the question, too. I've asked one of our know-it-alls this week, and I was like, what do you think about Juju moving on from Pittsburgh? Because it's a very big possibility that he's not going to re-sign because he wants bigger money. Is Pittsburgh is kind of got to be on the fence about signing him long-term. He's not elite. Like everybody has been pushing him. The hype train has been building up on him. And now all of a sudden this year, a lot of critical catches that should have been caught were dropped. First downs and touchdowns and what have you. And he's just not the same player that we normally like to see on the football field. So is that another reason why Big Ben is actually thinking about the future, without football? Is he possibly considering retirement, especially after this year? Say they're going to make the playoffs, definitely. They're right in there. And what if they lose in the first round? Is that going to be the tipping scale for Big Ben to be like, hey, you know what? I just can't do this anymore. We made the playoffs. That's great. I came back from last year with doubts, and yet again, we're in the playoffs, and then the first round of the playoffs we play, and we're knocked out. Like, what am I doing? Is it? And I can already start to see the organization start to make changes. Eventually they have to find my successor. Eventually, maybe they do depart from Juju. Now they got to find another receiver, which that organization is great at finding receivers. But it's like maybe it's too much change for Big Ben. He doesn't have Le'Veon Bell anymore. He has James Conner. Let's be honest. He's no Le'Veon Bell.
Right.
And the offensive line has slowly, there's a couple of pieces that left and they went to other teams. Things are changing in Pittsburgh. Is Big Ben prepared for this to play another year, another 2 years? We know he had that 3-year deal that he signed.
Yeah, I mean, he still has one more year on it, but where he's going to be making $41 million. Right. I mean, and the way he's playing, that's a lot of money to lock up there. And then if you still have Mason Rudolph there, and Duck Hodges still even back there in the back, I mean, you maybe got to, this coming season, got to work on your offensive line and maybe get some new guys in there.
But that's the thing, too, is like Pittsburgh has to be very wary about this, is because they need to find their future quarterback now. But don't wait until Big Ben is like, I'm done, because he can retire at any moment.
Right.
He could retire after if they happen to lose in the playoffs and just be like, I'm freaking done. I had enough. I can't do this anymore. Money's nice, but don't get me wrong. I think Big Ben has plenty of money stashed away. I don't think that's a concern for him. But that, again, this is the part where it's like the tipping point now for Pittsburgh. Like, what are they going to do to be prepared for when Big Ben does decide to go? and it could be as soon as after the playoffs. We don't know.
Absolutely. Again, yeah, so we'll see what happens with that. I mean, he hasn't been playing the best right now. Pittsburgh, for one of the teams that are up
Big
there,
Ben
there. So
Big Ben's been playing really
He's
good.
been playing He's been playing okay. Yeah,
It's
but
more
just
about the
sometimes
supporting
it's just-
cast.
Yeah, I hear you there. There was a bunch of drops by Deontay Johnson that
Yes.
got dropped. So if they turned
Juju.
into catches, that would have been better for wins. But again, like you're even saying too, Deontay Johnson, the reason why he has a lot of drops too is because he's getting a lot more targets. He's going to these other guys, Claypool.
Oh no,
Johnson,
he's dropping way too many though.
Oh, he is. Well, lately he's been making some really great catches.
That seems
but
to
I'm
be
just
the
saying
thing.
again, he's getting targeted a lot. I mean, it's not like before where it was Antonio Brown was getting fed a lot, or Juju here and
But
there.
but that's the thing is, where else is he going to throw to when you have Juju dropping balls? Chase Claypool's still developing. I mean, but he's been pretty fit. He's almost been spot on with the catching all the time. So he's been going more to Claypool because maybe he trusts more in Clay and Deontay Johnson. Maybe that's his second best option at this point because Juju's not as sure-handed as we thought he was. So he's got to just throw it to somebody. And Eric Ebron is actually having a decent year for them. So does he? I don't even know if he signed a 1-year deal. I don't remember. Or did he sign a 2-year, 3-year deal? So, I mean, I don't know. The organization is in flux right now. And let's wait and see. Let's see what they can do in the playoffs because here's where the concern is, and this is their schedule real quick. I'm just going to list off the opponents that they faced: the Giants, the Texans, the Browns, which is in division, the Ravens in division, Bengals in division, Ravens again, Bills. That's a really good team. So that's one really good team they faced. The Colts, they're pretty good. Then you got the Broncos, Eagles. Not really. The Titans depends on the week, I guess.
They shoot themselves in the foot a lot.
Exactly. The Cowboys, down year. Jaguars, really bad year. Washington, which actually Washington beat them that week. Defense must have been playing great. The Bengals again and the Browns again. So you could see that this schedule was pretty darn weak, despite maybe 2 or 3 games. Out of the division. So maybe they have a point. It's a really weak schedule, and now that we've gotten glimpses of them playing tougher teams, and they're like, wow, they got manhandled, really. So coming into the playoffs, that's not a rep that you want to have, and they better be prepared because every other team in the playoff is going to be ready.
Absolutely, and looking into that division, it's getting a lot tighter now too.
Browns,
they used to
Ravens.
be a team that would pretty much control that division, or sometimes on and off with the Ravens. But now the Browns are getting better, it seems like, and even the Bengals, altogether are playing better, especially when Joe Burrow's in there. But look they came through and won with Ryan Finley there. And
Brandon Allen has been balling out, the quarterback for the Bengals. So, they did win with Finley, but they already know what they got in him.
Exactly.
Not very good.
Yeah.
But when Brandon Allen came back healthy last week, wow.
Yeah.
All I have to say is that Joe Burrow is amazing. Like, even as a rookie, he's had an amazing year despite the injury. But Brandon Allen, hold on to that guy because he's going to be a great backup for you guys.
Absolutely.
Lots to
I looked
build
up
off of.
Eric Ebron. He still has one more year after this on his deal. He's set to make $8.5 million next year.
Okay.
And so there's money on the books here against the cap too. So it's not like he can be released or whatever. Quick
Yeah,
too,
so they just can't.
So they're just gonna hang
That's
on to
okay.
him. So
They don't want to move on from him.
Yeah, they don't absolutely don't.
They need
want
someone
to
to catch the ball.
Yeah, absolutely. So, all right, so we're talking about quarterbacks with teams that need to make decisions about quarterbacks. We talked about a bunch of them. Sam Darnold with the Jets, Trubisky and the Bears, Phillip Rivers and the Colts. We just talked about Big Ben, and now we have finally here Kirk Cousins with the Minnesota Vikings. Now, I saved him for last just because it's really interesting because he got one of the biggest deals here for a quarterback. Most of it was all of it, $66 million guaranteed.
Fully guaranteed.
But the latter states of this contract now get kind of tricky here because now seeing where they place in this division now, they're not going to be very good.
No.
They have potentially a decision to make because
It's not hard.
well, yeah, I know it's interesting, and they got to do it this season because
It's not hard.
if Kirk Cousins is on the roster the third day of the 2021 league year, his 2022 salary will be fully guaranteed. It's only guaranteed if he has an injury happens to him or so, this season or whatever, and he's going to be out for a little bit. They will guarantee his next salary here. If he is on the roster here now too, by the third day of this coming, which is in the offseason, then they got to fully guarantee that. And that is, $35 million
they got him
set to pay.
He's locked in then.
$35 million for, again, a guy who hasn't taken him to the championship, where you had Case Keenum get you just about as close, if not closer, than Kirk Cousins has. You know what I'm saying? With, a really great team. Then, now you see some of the guys, Stephon Diggs left. You do have Jefferson there now, which is a nice key piece here for your wide receiving core. And Dalvin Cook's playing nice, so too. But you see that defense struggling at times there, too, as well. So, I mean, I don't think you're having that nucleus that you had, that little bit of cushion that you did for the championship and why you hired him and got Kirk Cousins. Now you're kind of tapering off. I think now you got to do something with Kirk Cousins and potentially move forward.
There's two parts to this. So, like, Kirk Cousins in the offense, they're good. They are. They're a good offense. Kirk Cousins isn't a bad quarterback. It's just, let's face it, the Vikings this year had no real defense. They didn't. And when you don't have a defense that can support your offense to give them the ball back a couple times a game,
somebody's tying up
2
a lot
or
of your
3
money,
times a
it's
game,
tough.
Still, when you get the defense to give you back the ball a couple times that they should be able to do, that gives you another extra couple of opportunities to score more points. And it's basically like what used to be where they were balanced. They had a pretty darn solid defense, and they had Kirk Cousins in this offense with Diggs and the rest of the crew. That seemed to get them some wins. That seemed to get them into the playoffs enough and all that. Now you're seeing a season where the defense has gotten ran through. There's less starting caliber players on that side of the ball. Zimmer this season basically had 2 rookie corners starting. Never really were starters before, but now they're pushed into that limelight. And they failed. They could not with the defense that was being run. They didn't have any D tackles to make that major push up the middle like they normally do. There was a lot missing, and because of that, it was all on the offense being expected to use every single series when they go out there, and you're expected to either get a field goal or a touchdown at the very least. A lot of pressure on the offense. And the defense wasn't backing him up. So that's where you kind of see that little battle to where they struggled this year at a 6-9 record right now. I don't completely blame Kirk for it because the defense failed. But when you're talking about that large of a number for a quarterback, you expect top-notch play. You expect a Russell Wilson. You expect a Aaron Rodgers. You expect a Patty Mahomes at times to be the guy that can carry the team more than the talent around him. So I get that point, but also want to put it in perspective that it's not 100% Kirk's fault why they just have a 6-9 record at this point this season. It's more about that defense being weak and the offense is still trying to make up the loss. So, yeah, I will say this. That's a huge decision, and the only way they keep Kirk and allow that to lock up that $35 million and pay him for $35 million for another year is if they truly believe that their guy, their next future quarterback, is not in this draft at all. That's the only way. If they're not convinced that, hey, if we draft, Joe Schmo from Oklahoma State, and we're not convinced that he's the guy, or if they have a chance to trade up and get Trevor Lawrence or what have you, then they don't do it. They're going to stick with Kirk because he's already knows the offense. He's a veteran. He's been there, done that type of thing, and they'll say, hey, I know it's a lot of money, but we're going to ride out one more year with this guy, and we got to be prepared for next offseason to find our guy.
Yeah, well, if he's on the roster, then you're looking at 2 years because he's 32 years old now, 2022, which you would be guaranteed to have to pay him. Might as well stick him around there, too. Again, potentially you get your guy next year. hang out for a year, and then he can be behind him there.
Right.
He'll only be 34 too as well.
Right.
So I mean, he's still fairly young if you look at quarterbacks the way they're playing now. Because Big Ben's not 39, Philip Rivers 39, Tom Brady 43.
Right.
You know what I mean?
But you're absolutely right. That is a ton of money to
bury
pay
into it.
one guy.
It's killed teams.
I know it's quarterback, but to pay one guy that large amount of money for 1 year. That's a tough pill to swallow.
And like you said, for a guy, because you're looking at it and you're evaluated by your money, that's why we've had the conversation about Dak Prescott 1,000 times.
Yeah.
It's not that he shouldn't be their franchise quarterback.
No.
He shouldn't get paid.
Yeah.
It's what he was asking for that we think was just, come on, bring it down a little bit.
He's definitely a starting caliber quarterback.
Yeah,
it's just the amount of money. It's just crazy.
Yeah. You've seen it hurt a lot of franchises.
Unless you're
all
elite,
around.
like we were saying, Aaron Rodgers, Russell Wilson, those type of guys. Okay, you can make an argument, be like, hey, we gotta pay this guy this. He is our offense. If you remove Aaron Rodgers from Green Bay right now, and you put in, let's just do it. Let's put in Kirk Cousins. Let's just say, I know it's kind of sacrilegious there for Green Bay Packer fans out there, but Kirk Cousins in a Green Bay uniform right now with the same weapons, the same offense, all that. How far do you guys think you're going to get? I honestly think you could. I think you could make the playoffs as a wild card. I honestly think that, but you're not going to be that elite offense with Kirk there. Aaron Rodgers.
Playoffs? Don't talk about playoffs.
Aaron Rodgers, if he's in a Minnesota uniform right now, I'm sorry, he could make up that difference enough, maybe, to help carry that other part of the defense. So that's where
because when you start dropping it there, say Aaron Rodgers, Dalvin Cook, Evan Thielen, Justin Jefferson, you know what I mean? You're like hearing those
Irv
names.
Smith
Irv
Jr.
Smith Jr. Yeah.
Kyle Rudolph is done.
Yeah.
Like Irv Smith Jr. We saw last week. He's the tight end. He's the real deal.
Right.
He's a mismatch. So that
well,
offense.
that's what I mean. That sounds scary when you start listing
You put Aaron Rodgers there. Woo! Like I mean, yes, their defense is a little shaky and everything, but you put an elite quarterback right there with Minnesota, and they're in the playoffs. I'm just saying.
You're talking about scoring at will. Again, you can make up for what your defense has been. It's what the Chiefs had done before, and things like that. You've seen good offenses be able to do something like that.
That was a fun little.
Why not? That's pretty neat. There we go. We were just talking about teams with quarterback decisions to make in the offseason. What do you guys think out there? Are there other teams we missed? Quarterbacks you guys want to think, maybe consider, might be leaving or you would want to get or something like that. Tom Brady. Yeah, I don't know.
I'm throwing it out there right now.
Why not? Who knows?
Because let's face it, it's more of like a year-to-year contract with him right now. At his age, it's about how he feels in the offseason. But I know one thing about Tom. We all know one thing about Tom. He is one of the ultimate competitors.
Yeah.
And I feel like Tom Brady doesn't want to walk away until he's broken every quarterback record there is. Because we just heard this past week, guess what? Drew Brees broke another milestone, everybody. First quarterback to get to 80,000 passing yards all time.
Absolutely.
And you know who doesn't like that? Tom. Tom wants it. Tom wants that milestone now.
He does.
So he's hoping that Drew Brees retires this year. And then I can just assume that if Brees retires, Tom is going to want to come back just so he can break all those other milestones.
You poked the bear.
Yeah, absolutely.
I could just see it, man, because that's the way he is. He's such a competitive person that he wants every single record there is.
And again, I mean, even Cam Newton, if you want to talk about him, he hasn't played very
really.
well.
I don't want to talk about Cam.
I know. I'm just saying. I mean, do the Patriots where you want to hang on to him? They're not paying him much now as it is, and he's on a one-year deal. I don't think any other teams are going to pick him up. Things like that.
No, he better think about retirement. Maybe be a car salesman or something.
We're talking about quarterbacks here, Albert, right now. Guy that's out there just cleared waivers. Your boy Dwayne Haskins now.
Yeah.
Started enough problems here with Ron Rivera in the Washington football team. Now he's out there. Do you think a team out there picks him up? Do you think the Patriots even try and take a look at him and say, we can maybe fix guys with attitudes?
I think 100. You're going to see not just one or two teams. You're going to see several teams that are going to be interested in Dwayne Haskins. One, because he's still super young. Two, he's underdeveloped. He's not a developed quarterback yet. We all know that.
Yeah.
And three, he hasn't been with a he hasn't had any continuity in his pro career yet. I mean, he's had to learn a new offense back-to-back years. So it's like with a guy that is that young, that has, and the one thing that no one ever doubted is his accuracy coming out of college. So that's the number one thing you got to have as a quarterback now. Can everything be ingrained in him, X's and O's wise, mentally? Can he read the defenses? Can he make the right decisions at times? You know what I mean? In a certain offense, you're going to see a lot of guys, salivate over getting this guy as a prospect in and trying to further develop him in whoever's offense. So, yeah, I do believe he's still going to have a life after Washington, 100%. It's just who are one of those teams that want to take the plunge? And I feel like it's got to be a team that already has a quarterback, to be honest. Because if you're one of those teams like the Jaguars, we'll just say, like the Jaguars still looking for a quarterback and like, you know what? We could get this kid. Do we like him? Do we think he'll fit our offense? Blah, 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 blah. If you bring him in and you're going to throw him to the wolves, so to speak, next year, again, he's got to learn the offense again. He's got to get comfortable with the way, all that kind of stuff still has to happen. It'd be better for him. And one of the dumbest decisions he's made is coming out too early out of college. So it's got to be a team that is kind of comfortable with their starter who they have and bring him under their wing and kind of try to develop him behind the curtain.
There you go.
Just do it!
Yeah, somebody's just got to go get him. I already look at, too, I mean, if you look at Cam Newton and him, I would rather, if I'm the Patriots, I'd rather try Dwayne Haskins out than Cam Newton even, too, just because I think he's a more accurate passer.
Oh, 100%.
And just, again, you got an opportunity for him to develop. Cam Newton has already seen his better years, and you know what you're getting out of him already.
Right,
so.
And Haskins is more of a pocket guy anyway. So, yeah, as far as Cam goes, listen, the Patriots, that was a desperation move. Just to add
absolutely.
Cam as the quarterback and see if they could make it work. Didn't work, and Bill's pissed, and he doesn't want him back.
Oh, yeah, there you go. All right, so that moves us on to our in-the-know fact of the day, Joe. There you go. That's right.
My favorite time.
It is your favorite time. Just here we go. I dug deep for this one. This one's interesting here. On January 1st, seeing it is almost New Year's here, 1961, the Houston Oilers won the first AFL championship by beating the Los Angeles Chargers. See, they were once the Los Angeles Chargers before. And the Houston Oilers, now the Tennessee Titans here. And a lot of people know about the Houston Texans out there. But, yes, there was the Houston Oilers there. If you guys don't know yet, if some of you young guys out there who just know the franchise the way they are in there now as they are. Here you go. That's in the know fact of the day. All right, here we go. So yeah, everybody knows, that's been watching this show out there. All you guys, all you know-it-alls out there, we appreciate you guys this past season. It's been pretty crazy with COVID and everything going on in the way it's been, but we're marching through and keeping it going, and we're going to have 2021 moving on. But I mean, Joe and I have been doing the competition again like we've been the last 3 years. It's been close right down to the end again, and here we are. Now let's take a look at our stats the way we're at now, and that brings it up to 158, 81 and 1, 164, 75 and 1. So now I got a few games lead on Joe, but
a few.
This week still could be close here. You got to go all out here, Joe. I want to see an all-out blitz here by you this week and just come at me here with whatever you got.
I don't think so.
But it should be interesting. So if you guys don't know, we do a competition here, and the loser has to drink a football size worth, basically the size of this football here, a mug of liquor and stuff, and we have a blast here. So it's a lot. So you guys, when we guys let you know, usually it's like the Super Bowl, the night before the Super Bowl, the show before that, or the show after. But it's a lot of fun. You guys got to check it out. It's very cool. All right, so we go. Let's get to our picks, Joe. Let's get right into it here. What do we got here for the first? They're all on Sunday this week now too. We're stacked up for a Sunday here.
Yeah, Miami Dolphins at the Buffalo Bills. Now these are both teams that are still playing for something. Both of them. So I mean, yeah, Buffalo is going, regardless if they win or lose, they are going to win this division. However, they are playing for seeding at this point, and the Miami Dolphins need to keep winning in order for them to make the playoffs. So,
Playoffs?
Yeah, believe it or not, playoffs.
Talk about playoffs?
That's right. That's what I just said.
You kidding
Anyway.
me?
No, not really.
Playoffs?
Yes, I got it. Damn it, I just said that.
Enough.
All right. Anyway, Miami Dolphins at the Buffalo Bills. Who you got, Jim?
All right, I got the Buffalo Bills. They're playing. This is going to be a tough game, though. Again,
Yeah.
it's going to be really tight. Miami is playing really great football here. If it was in Miami, I might even pick the Miami Dolphins right here. But Buffalo's been so electric and electrifying the way they're playing. You see Stephon Diggs and the relationship he has with Josh Allen right now. They're playing great, and they're actually starting to get a little bit of a running game going a little bit here, too, with Zach Moss and stuff. Can they get a little more balanced coming into the playoffs? We'll see. That would only help them better. And this defense, you can't say anything, terrible about this defense. Defense has been playing great. It has been locking down teams. They just dismantled the Patriots, absolutely. So they couldn't do anything at all, gather up any offense at all. So I like the Buffalo Bills here at home. They're going to get crazy.
Yeah, and here's the thing is you got a Miami Dolphin team that really likes warm weather. Really likes it. And they're coming to Buffalo where it is pretty damn cold right now. So I too, because of the weather, that's really kind of the only reason why I'm still going to go with the Bills.
There you go. So, and if they didn't have a little Fitz magic there last week too, I mean, in that face mask, like how do you do that with the? I'm sorry to bring that
the
up.
Face mask doesn't bother me at all.
Yeah,
the face mask doesn't bother me at all. The thing is a breakdown in the defense
too. There, yeah.
Dude, it's called game situation.
Yeah,
game situation.
Should never.
And it was. I mean, I'm not going to make excuses up, but the rookie corner there, Damon Arnett, like, bro, it's 19 seconds left of the game. What do you think they're going to do?
Yeah.
They're going to throw deep. They have to. So why did you release him at the 5 yards from the scrimmage? He just released the receiver and let him go. I understand the defense that was called is like a cover 2 zone.
Yeah.
And yes, normally you would release the receiver. But 19 seconds remaining. You don't release him. You run with him.
Yeah, you run with him. You don't give up.
And that play does not
happen.
if he runs with them, that play does not happen. Yes, the penalty still gets enforced, and that's a 15-yarder.
Yeah, it's a 15-yarder,
but that's nothing.
But it's not,
They're still at their own 40 with maybe 12 seconds left. Come on, man. That's another segment. But anyway, it just fucking, it just dumb. It was just dumb, and I can't take it. I don't know. Why didn't you call timeout before that play? Like the defensive coordinator now.
Yeah.
And this falls on Rod Marinelli because Gunther got fired. What are you doing, bro? Why didn't you? But when you saw everybody line up and be like, wait a second, let me call timeout. Come here, guys. Do not let anybody go deep on you. Do not release people into open flats, into open down the sideline. Don't get beat deep. That's it. That's all you had to do. Unreal.
Yeah.
That was probably me.
Yeah, it was. All right, there you go. Let's move on from that. I'm sorry you had to relive that again. All right, here we go. The Green Bay Packers now, Chicago Bears.
Stupid.
Chicago's been playing better. Mitch Trubisky, like I said, has been throwing about 70% right now on all of his throws, getting movement, being able to get out of the pocket and make some runs. But Green Bay has been playing great. Aaron Rodgers, if he is not the MVP this year, I've just given up on MVP voting altogether just because, again, it's ridiculous. If you want to just pick favorites and pick Patrick Mahomes, I mean, that's ridiculous. Aaron Rodgers, better in every single aspect except for I think he has less yards. Like,
that's it.
Whoop-de-doo. He's
Yeah.
got better accuracy. He's got a better turnover ratio, more touchdowns. There you go. I mean, you got to give it to him.
I'm sorry. Any day of the week, I would take Aaron Rodgers or Russell Wilson over Mahomes.
That's what I said. When somebody give it to you,
close.
if you say, this is your team, you're going to pick Aaron Rodgers or pick Patrick Mahomes. I'm picking Aaron Rodgers again still.
Yes.
And people might think I'm crazy.
Even
but
at his age.
you think I'm crazy.
Even at his age.
Yeah. It's because he is. He's just more accurate, makes less mistakes. Patrick Mahomes, he is good, but he still makes a lot of those mistakes that a young quarterback makes. It happens. It happens. It's the way it goes.
And he has some missed throws, by the way.
Yeah.
I mean, I've watched enough games with him. So.
All right, but going into Chicago, this is going to be a nice, tight game again, too, because it is that divisional rivalry. One thing I have noticed with the NFL, they have been putting these division rivalry games towards the end of the season, which makes it very exciting. But I don't think Chicago has enough here, too. I think Green Bay still pulls out a win. But it's going to be probably within a field goal, I'd say. It's going to be close.
I mean, this is one of those games where I gotta go with Chicago at this point. Chicago has played well the last couple of weeks. Yes, I know they're facing Green Bay, and A little
I don't blame you, though.
A little side note for the Packers is they just picked up off of waivers Damon Harrison, big snacks as a nose tackle. So he's going to be – I don't know if he's going to suit up for this game because it's so soon. Maybe. But, yeah, I'm going to go with Chicago. Their defense has been playing better because their offense is putting points on the board, for God's sakes.
Absolutely.
So, yeah.
All right, so now next up we have the Baltimore Ravens and the Cincinnati Bengals. Cincinnati's been playing pretty good, like you said, even with even Kyle Allen in there. But Baltimore, again, they've seemed to step up, and Lamar Jackson making some plays and getting the ball out to where it needs to be. Basically, because his only problem that he has had is missed throws is himself, too. You can't deny what he does athletically and making runs. Some of the things he does in open space, what I've noticed that's very intriguing to me is not only just he doesn't just say, oh, I'm going to run first, and just forget about it. He actually has the vision of a running back while he's still looking for plays and sees, boom, look at that hole right there, and boom, and guns it. So that vision that he has, that's that extra little bit, is pretty amazing to me. How he just pulls the trigger on it. So I'm going to go with still the Baltimore Ravens here. They're playing good football. Cincinnati's been playing pretty tough, but I like Baltimore.
In the last couple of weeks, the Baltimore Ravens, it seems like they have a little bit of an urgency to get more of the passing game involved. And you see that Marquise Brown, a.k.a. Hollywood Brown, he's starting to get a lot more catches now. He's starting to be more integrated into the offense, into the game plan. And when you have a lethal mobile threat like Lamar Jackson along with his running backs, and now he's starting to throw the ball more often and hitting guys like Hollywood Brown, watch out. I mean, this Ravens team, they're heating up at the right time, and if they can make it into the playoffs, they need to win this game. So they're not resting anybody. So, yeah, I'm going to go with Baltimore on this one as well. I mean, I don't think this can be even a close game. I know they're rivals, but now the way the Ravens are playing, it seems like they're ready.
Now.
They're just ready to go.
Absolutely. All right, moving on to Pittsburgh. Again, they are going to rest players here. Big Ben. I don't know who else might be resting out here for them.
Big Ben, probably Juju, probably James Conner.
Yeah,
you know,
a few here.
They're big.
But again,
we
just talked about this earlier on in this segment, and it could be a mistake for them letting Cleveland in here because I think with Cleveland fully healthy here and coming back, getting their wide receivers here at home against Pittsburgh, this is an opportunity for them to win, especially without Big Ben here. Now, the one intriguing thing is with this story is you get Mason Rudolph to come back and see Myles Garrett again. And is there going to be a little fisticuffs? You know, I don't know. Who knows? Is he going to take the helmet? Is he going to hit him again?
I think he's learned his lesson. I don't
Who
think
knows?
that's
But that's the
happen.
only intriguing line here because I think Cleveland's going to take it here. I got Cleveland.
Oh, funny. But yeah, so you got
Imagine
Cleveland.
if he gets a sack. Myles Garrett, he says something to him. You know, like, yo, you just say something now? You going to say something, bro? Huh?
Yeah, I know. So, Pittsburgh knows that they're in and everything. They are resting people against the Browns regardless. And the Browns need to win. So, if they can pull off this win and they're in. You know what I mean? That I'm pretty sure that's it. However, if they end up in a tie with Baltimore, say they win, they beat Pittsburgh and the Ravens win. Ravens would get the tiebreaker. The Ravens have beaten the Browns twice this year. So there's no doubt about it. The Browns better hope they have to win, and they got to hope the Ravens lose.
Yeah.
And that's going to be tough when you have the Bengals being as beat up as they are. So anyway, Cleveland, Pittsburgh. God, I don't know. I need to make up some of the games. So I don't even know if I can go with Pittsburgh with Mason Rudolph.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Yeah, and if you don't even have Juju, it's like, what's going to happen there? So maybe the Minnesota-Detroit one you can pick
and
it up.
And the other problem I have, too, with Pittsburgh is that they don't have Jared Bush anymore at middle linebacker. So that's a huge loss right now for their defense.
Devin Bush here?
Devin Bush, that's it. So, man, I don't know. They didn't look good last week. This week, without all their starters in, I'm just gonna have to stick with Cleveland on this one.
All right.
I just can't. I can't go with Rudolph, the red-nosed reindeer there.
There you go. All right, Joe's got that, man.
I just can't. I just can't with less weapons.
All right, here we go. We've got the Minnesota Vikings and the Detroit Lions. This one was kind of a tough one for me in a sense, kind of just looking at it quick, where I was like, oh, man, these two teams are both kind of struggling, but they're not really horrible. I mean, Detroit has been able to play, but again, they're in shambles for right now. They're trying to hire all kinds of guys. They're doing the hiring process on the side, so they've already kind of checked out for the next season. I think I've got the Minnesota Vikings in here and Kirk Cousins here to pull off a win here.
They are fighting for a draft pick, everybody.
Yes.
And that's about it. Vikings are 6-9. The Lions are 5-10. And hey, the Lions fans and the Vikings fans do. That's who cares. Okay. But anyway, you're going to go with the Vikings and Kirk Cousins. It's not going to make a difference. I'm going to go with Detroit on this one. Why not? Because
who knows?
Doesn't matter.
Stranger things have happened.
If Stafford plays, I'll say that.
Yeah.
And Kenny Galladay might finally show up.
Maybe.
Who knows?
I'll put it about
that
Stafford.
Guy just. It seems like he just doesn't feel like playing this year.
No, he doesn't. He just, whenever he shows up, he's kind of like Josh Gordon, I guess. All right, here we go. The Jacksonville Jaguars against the Indianapolis Colts. Colts, again, have to win, but then again, it's not all in their hands. It depends on how the other teams play.
No, Colts, they do have to win. They are playing.
I'm saying they have to win. Division. They have to play to win. They have to try and win. But again, they can get easily knocked out if other teams win.
If they got to hope that Tennessee loses and they win, then they get the division. Then they're automatically in.
There you go. So, all right. So now, Jacksonville, again, they're looking to tank. Doug Marrone, back and forth with quarterbacks. He's not doing it like the way Miami is, putting Tua in and Fitzpatrick. I think they more have a scheme that they're trying to do. It's not the case with Jacksonville. He's ruined this team for a while. I think he needs to go, so I like the Colts here.
Yeah,
let's go, Phillip Rivers.
Let's go, Phillip.
Yeah.
And why not? I don't know. I mean, when you're 1-14, the coach has got to go. I mean, he's been there long enough, right? Like, he's been there, 4 years now?
Yeah, I think longer than that.
Longer than that?
I think so, because, again, he was there with Blake Bortles when they made the Super Bowl run in the AFC Championship.
Wow, he's been there that long?
So, I mean, maybe that was 4 years ago. We've been doing this show for about that long, I guess, too.
How is he still there, then? I'm sorry. It's crazy and ridiculous. Yeah. But anyway, I mean, he's not – you don't see any improvement with this team despite the talent that they have already on this roster. There's no excuse to be 1-14 at this point. Even I'm not saying winning, going ahead and win the division, but damn. Yeah, I mean, Jacksonville, Jaguars, they got some young talent that they're working with going up against the Colts. Colts got to have this game. Yeah, I can't go with Jacksonville. I'm going Colts.
Oh, man. There you go. You can't do it either way, whatever. All right, now the Chargers and the Kansas City Chiefs. Chiefs are going to sit a bunch of people. We know that for sure. They're probably going to sit their whole wide receiving core here, except for Robinson and a few others. And Mahomes is sitting. So I think they are ripe for the picking here. The way the Chargers play, the way Justin Herbert's been playing, setting a rookie record now in touchdowns. I like the Los Angeles Chargers to pull off a win here in Kansas City because they're getting a loss to them doesn't matter right now. So I think Chargers have more to play for here.
Chargers don't have anything to play for.
Well, they don't have anything to play for, but they just want to be able to beat them and just win. You know what I mean? Chiefs don't care. Yeah. And I don't think Chiefs, besides their starters, have enough depth to really beat the Chargers at this point.
I think I'm going to pick the Chiefs.
There you go. Why not?
Because it's a rivalry game, and bad things happen in rivalry games.
There you go. Bad things happen in rivalry games. I like that. There you go.
Honey Badger don't care. Honey Badger smacks the shit out of it.
Yeah, maybe Honey Badger will sit. Maybe Honey Badger will play. You never know.
Never know.
Honey Badger don't care. Honey Badger don't give a shit. It just takes what it wants.
Yeah, so he does. All right, there you go. He gets a lot of interceptions for what he does, too.
I mean, he is one of the premier safeties in the league.
Yeah, so he says thanks for the treat stupid when he does it, too. That's what it does. All right, here we go. The New York Jets. When did you think I was going to say the New York Jets are on a 2-game winning streak?
That's right.
But I just said it. Unbelievable.
You did.
Yeah.
Honey Badgers are just crazy.
There's no honey badger.
No honey badger for that one, no. But we've got the Patriots.
I feel like that soundbite only works for Kansas City.
I guess it just does now until Honey Badger retires.
Until he leaves.
All right, so here we got the Patriots embarrassed on Monday night.
They got to be pissed.
The Jets, they've been playing better in here, but still, I don't know. There's something in me that says New England at home against the Jets. Jets have been winning, but there's no way that Bill Belichick and the Patriots are going to lose at home to the Jets and Sam Darnold and Adam Gase.
And this is the funny thing is when the Jets weren't playing that well, they still almost beat New England.
They did.
So I'm going to roll with the Jets on this one.
With the Jets. There you go.
I think that they really do have a legitimate shot on being the Patriots while they're still down.
Boom. How about that? Joe's going right along with it. All right, I like it. Here we go. Now the Dallas
Cowboys. And go farther down the draft board.
Oh, man. All right, here we go. Now we've got the other New York team here, the Giants and the Cowboys. I said it last week.
They're playing for something. They're playing for the division, baby. They got to hope Washington loses, though. Both teams are hoping Washington loses their game. Mm-hmm. And if that happens, the winner of this game wins the division.
Yep,
I know, exactly. Little John. It's crazy.
It
it's the NFC East.
Yeah, I know, and it is pretty nuts. But, again, unfortunately, I'm a Giants fan, and I think they don't have enough here to beat even Andy Dalton and the Dallas Cowboys. I like the Cowboys to win it. I said it last week when Nathaniel McWirt was on here with us. He said, do you think it's the Giants division or Washington? I said Cowboys. And I picked them in the beginning of the season, even though a lot has happened since then, and they don't have a lot of the same players right now. I'm riding with Dallas right now.
Yeah, I'm sorry. Dallas's defense is so bad. Despite what we've seen recently, the past couple of weeks, everyone's like, oh, they're playing so much better. Yeah, well, that's a little bit because of the opponent that they were playing. Offense wasn't that great. Giants, I'm going to go with the Giants on this one. I think the Giants still have a shot to beat the Dallas Cowboys. I think the Giants have a better defense. And as long as Daniel Jones, that's too much to ask. Never mind.
Yeah, I know. Right?
Let's just hope he doesn't make all the mistakes.
Yeah,
just
absolutely.
Minimize them, please. Just don't do them.
Yeah, and don't throw deep when you have the guys underneath.
Check it down all day long. I don't care if you're check down Charlie, bro. Just don't throw into double coverage.
Absolutely. Now
or fumble.
The Atlanta Falcons played a tough game last week. They took it to the Chiefs, and they probably should have won that game. We talked about the kicker, Will Lutz, and having issues with his accuracy. Atlanta's kicker was almost on my naughty list too, and maybe now after he probably should have been.
Only for that week, though.
Yeah, I know.
I mean, this guy's actually had a great season.
He's kind of up and down. So, I mean, it's weird. But just shy there. Atlanta, it's a divisional game here with Tampa Bay. Atlanta was beating the daylights out of the Tampa Bay Buccaneers in the first half of the game and then just gave it up and let Tampa back in. And that's kind of been the story here for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. They haven't really lit anybody really on fire, early on. They start off sluggish. And then they kind of get it going, and then they turn on the juice and go. So that's, I think, I'm going to see is going to happen still here. It's going to be the same here. Yeah. Atlanta's going to put up a little bit of a fight here, but Tampa Bay is going to start out slow, come through, and just demolish the Atlanta Falcons. I like the Tampa Bay Buccaneers.
Yeah, I mean, Tampa Bay, they're just really good all around. Like, their defense is stout. Their offense is really starting to run on all cylinders right now. And now that Brady is completely comfortable with his weapons, with look at all the weapons he's got. He's got more weapons than most freaking teams, throughout the whole NFL. When so far, Antonio Brown is starting to work out. You got Mike Evans, you got Chris Godwin. It's absolutely insane. Rob Gronkowski is like he returned to like the Gronkowski of old. There's a lot to stop there. So Tampa is just too solid of a team. I really don't see them losing. I'm going with Tampa on this one.
All right, here he goes, going with the Bucks. All right, now we've got the New Orleans Saints and the Carolina Panthers. Joe, what do you got for this one here?
New Orleans Saints, I mean, you got the shapeshifter and Taysom Hill on the Saints, and Drew Brees is back at quarterback. So it seems like they're pretty intact. Yes, they don't have Michael Thomas. He's done for the year. But they just make it work. When you got a guy like Alvin Kamara who scored 6 freaking touchdowns last week, I mean, that's insane. And then now you're playing the Carolina Panthers, which, don't get me wrong, they're no slouch. Still a good team, well coached. They got a good young defense. They got a good young offense. This is one of those rivalry games that's going to go right down to the wire.
Yeah, I mean, if you
got anything to add to that?
Basically, yeah, it's going to be a tougher game, but I think the New Orleans Saints can handle this game pretty easily here. I like the Saints. Who'd you go with, Carolina or the Saints?
I didn't go with anybody.
Oh, you didn't go with anybody? Yeah, no. Who do you got?
So
you want to see what I grabbed so you can do opposite, didn't you?
Well, I have to.
Yeah, I know.
At this point,
you have to.
I have to. So I got Carolina.
He's got Carolina. Here we go. All right, now we got the Titans and the Houston Texans. Houston has been just an up-and-down team for me. They play a lot of teams really close, have the opportunity, but then a turnover so makes it so right in the end of the game they can't win it. I thought they had enough to win last week. Then he just didn't play at all. Just shut it down to where J.J. Watt just called out everybody. It's like, you're letting the fans down. You're letting everybody down that puts out their harder money for this. So I think Houston's checked out. I like the Tennessee Titans. They need to limit the mistakes. They have been able to win some games because of mistakes, like via the Colts when they played the Colts, special teams and here and there. But they make too many mistakes here and there just in crucial moments to lose the game.
I don't know what to make of Tennessee anymore.
Yeah.
I mean, they should have handled I'm not saying they should have won the game against the Packers, but they should at least been competitive. It should have been a, back and forth battle is what I thought it was going to be, regardless of the weather conditions. But we didn't see that. We saw a Tennessee team that just never got off the plane. I don't know. And then you got Houston. Houston played pretty well last week. Which, I mean, what can you say? Deshaun Watson having a great year, a quiet year, because they're not a playoff team, so no one wants to talk about Deshaun Watson now. In this defense, which is kind of like Swiss cheese, Tennessee's got to win this game. This is one of those where I really can't go the opposite way on this. Tennessee has to win this game, and they're a better team.
All right, there you go. All right, now the Vegas Raiders, your team, against a divisional rival, the Denver Broncos. Again, I'm not really thrilled about how the Broncos play either, really. I'm not impressed.
They at least have a better defense.
Yeah, they do. They do. That's true, too. Again, it's going to be tough, but I think Vegas, they could pull it out here. I'm going to go with your Vegas Raiders here.
Well, I'm not taking Denver, so I'm going to take the Raiders.
There you go. It's like, man, tough decisions. All right, now we've got the Arizona Cardinals.
Despite the shitty defense, the Raiders, I don't think Denver is as good as they have. Now, also, they are missing people, though. Bradley Chubb is now out for the year. That's another pass rusher like Von Miller. He was done for the season. Now they're missing their other stout pass rusher in Bradley Chubb, so that's got to hurt them. I just think that, Vegas is just going to have to outscore Denver. I think they can do that. And with Drew Lock, the way he throws, who knows?
And now if you look at moving forward, the Arizona Cardinals and the Los Angeles Rams, Jared Goff's out. He had the broken thumb. He had surgery taken on that.
He won't be there.
I don't think we'll have Kyler Murray either, so we're going to have two backup quarterbacks here. They said, I think, that they're going to start Streveler here. I think Chris Streveler for the Cardinals. But I would put Brett Hundley.
Kyler Murray's starting.
Is he going to be starting?
Yes,
that's good. So
in.
he is going to be able to go. That's so much better even too. Because I was going to say, if he can't, I would put Brett Hundley in even more because he's got the NFL experience.
I like Brett Hundley. He's not a bad quarterback.
Exactly. I think that would be a better start for them. But I think overall, without Jared Goff and then having their backup quarterback, I think it was Wolford. He's no NFL experience at all. I think they're going to be struggling. I think Arizona still has the number 2 rated offense in the league still on scoring. And on defense, even too, still ranked 14th. And Hassan Reddick, a lot of people aren't talking about this guy either. He's been doing it quietly over there for Arizona as well and getting some sacks and tackles. So I like the Arizona Cardinals here.
Cardinals got to win this game in order to have a shot at making the playoffs. They are only a game behind right now with the Rams. So if they win, they still – here's the other thing is they are tied. They're tied on wins for the year because the Rams beat them the first time. And if the Cardinals beat them this time, Now, how's it get broken
I
down?
think it goes.
Then it goes
the
strength of schedule.
like
who
how
they face.
Beat, I think it heard they even beat
like
in
opponents.
the division. I think even too.
It's like opponents throughout the year,
Okay.
and what the breakdown is for that. So yeah, it gets really complicated, but nonetheless, I'm not picking the Rams. They don't have Goff. I don't care if I lose at this point. I can't. I get the Cardinals all the way. They got to win this game, and with the Rams not having Goff there, there's no fear. You know what I mean? The Cardinals are just got to key on the run, shut down the run, and make the quarterback throw the ball. So,
all right. So who do you got? The Cardinals. All right. Here we go. All right. Now the Seattle Seahawks and the San Francisco 49ers. Again, San Francisco plays hard. You know, even with how demolished on their roster they are too. I don't think it's enough here. I like the Seattle Seahawks.
Yeah, I'm gonna go with San Fran on this one because they're a team that If C.J. Beathard is the quarterback like he was last week, I feel like he gives them a better chance to win games than Nick Mullins.
Hey, baby.
Nice.
I guess that's what he's saying. Beathard or Butthead, whatever.
I mean,
Beathard,
George
same thing.
Kittle's there again.
Yeah.
So they got Brandon Ayuk. So they got some weapons to play with. And Jeff Wilson, man, where do they keep finding all these running backs? Like, it seems like they just got a never-ending Rolodex.
Yeah, I don't know.
They're just like, oh, let's see who this week. Curtis Hamilton, come on down. You're the next running back in the San Francisco 49ers. Like, I don't get it. But anyway, I'm going to take a shot. Hopefully, San Fran can get me a win here.
All right, here
it still won't be
it's
enough.
now here. Washington and Philadelphia, Joe. This is for all the kit and caboodle. What do you got here for Washington and Philadelphia?
For this one, oh man, that's tough. Oh boy, you got Jalen Hurts in the Philadelphia Eagles on one side. You got what looks like Alex Smith is going to be ready to go in Washington or for Washington. Now because Alex Smith is coming back healthy, I'm going to go, and Washington needs the win, so I'm going to go with Washington's defense and Alex Smith against the Eagles' high-flying Jalen Hurts option offense.
There you go. Joe goes with Washington. I am going to go with Philadelphia. Just to make it different, that makes it a complete different games for all of us so that you have the opportunity to catch up right here.
Do I have enough to tie?
Yes, you do.
I have enough to tie.
Yep, absolutely. So here we go.
That was the goal.
Yeah. Imagine if you make the comeback in this
It's not going to happen.
It would be amazing. That would be an epic comeback. You know what I'm saying?
Because what?
Motherfucker! Yeah.
I really got to hope the Giants pull this one out for me.
Yeah, right? Imagine that. Oh, it's going to be the way it is for me, too. I'm
Kansas City
rooting
without,
for them, but not.
Kansas City without their all their guys. Who is their backup? Is it
I can't
I'm trying to remember. I think it's a decent backup.
Yeah.
But I can't remember his name right now.
I'm trying to remember his name too.
Here, I can look it up.
Yeah, just look it up.
Let me look
But
it up.
But yeah, Philadelphia again, for my scenario to work, Philadelphia needs to pull out this win. I know they like to play spoiler. They play better at home. Washington, yes, Alex Smith seems like he is a good to go here, but and again, Washington's defense is better than what Philadelphia is. But still, I like the way Philadelphia plays. They play hard. They've been putting up points. And I don't think Washington is unbeatable here, too. So I like the Philadelphia Eagles. Let's see what happens. I want to see craziness with this. Yes, definitely, because I don't think the Giants are going to pull it off here. So
I really
even
hope
if
they do.
Well, that's what I think. I set it up perfect for myself. So how about this? So I picked the Cowboys just because I think they should. But if they lose, then the Giants win, so then I'm happy. So then I picked the Philadelphia Eagles, which I hate the Eagles. But if they beat the Washington football team, that means my Giants are in and we won the division. So I might have lost the pick, but I'm happy at the end.
But those two scenarios got to play out, though.
It does, though. So that's a lot of, wishing and stuff like that. So, I mean, a lot of things going on. So
I don't know how to
make your dreams come true.
When you're picking the Giants, the hardest thing for me is not really the team, not the defense. It doesn't come down to the weapons or the offensive line. I feel like they're all playing better. It's really the quarterback position. Because when Daniel Jones is the quarterback, it's hard to decipher what Daniel Jones you're going to get that week. Are you going to get the guy that doesn't fumble and makes the right decisions, or are you going to get the guy that tries to throw the football with a guy draped on him and ends up throwing it straight up in the air, or fumble it at worst? So That
It's
to me
Chad
is
Henne.
the hardest thing.
That's right, Chad Henne.
Oh, Chad
Henne is the backup.
Wow.
That's right?
What a blast! From
Yeah,
the
so
past,
I mean, he's
baby.
been a starter before,
Yeah,
so
he's
he
got
is capable.
experience.
He is capable. But again, I mean, I
Chad
like the
the
way
man
Justin
Henne.
Herbert's been playing though too. And so I mean, that should be a cool game. I mean, there's a lot of games slated
I
here.
can't wait to see
this
Byron Pringle at receiver for the Chiefs on the field. It's
That
going to
would
be exciting.
Oh yeah, it's going to be amazing. All right, so that's it for our show this week. I hope you guys enjoyed it. I mean, we had a lot to talk about.
Before they go, Jim, tell them what's going on. Like, listen, we all thank you guys so much for supporting us, for showing up on the show, for your comments, your questions, anything, even your insight at times. Because sometimes me and Jim, we get a little confused. Sometimes you guys help and straighten us out. Also, if you know anybody that loves football as much as we do, we all do, we love it, live it, breathe it, sleep, eat it, go ahead and head over to YouTube for us. Go ahead and help us grow that community for us right there. You can search us up on Facebook or YouTube, Football on the Know Show. Become a know-it-all. Become a member on Facebook. Become a know-it-all on YouTube. Hit the subscribe button. Hit the notification bell for all the latest and greatest updated content. Also, you can check us out on Twitter at FB_know. And find out all the different news and articles that we go ahead and post on there as well. Thank you guys so much. It's been a blast. I know 2020 was a down year. It kind of sucked balls, but we are going to come out of this stronger. Trust me on this. Thank you guys. Happy New Year, everybody, and we'll see you next year.